Mindoro. There's already continuous and sufficient power supply in Occidental Mindoro. So doon sa ERC, ano po yung status ng power supply agreement for Samarica area, ma'am?
Good morning po, Mr. Chair. Good morning to the honorable senators. They submitted the application for approval of power supply agreement for the Samarica project on May 17, Your Honor. And we have, under the rules, the Commission has 75 days to resolve whether we will issue a provisional authority or not. We have had our initial deliberations on the application. Unfortunately po, may mga questions pa na kailangang sagutin, particularly on the CSP that was conducted and whether we can really grant a provisional authority at this point. Kung maalala nyo po, in previous hearings, napaliwanag po namin na itong project po ito ay 3-in-1. So tatlong components dapat yung nandun sa PSA. A solar plant, a diesel plant, and a bunker fuel plant. Ang existing pa lang po is the bunker fuel plant. Hindi pa po nila nagagawa yung diesel and solar. As of the latest check, nag-deliberations po kami ng June, wala pa rin pong nakasubmit na permit yung diesel and solar. So inaaral po namin, pwede ba naming bigyan ng provisional authority yung isang project na binid out at a single rate for a 3-component project kung isa pa lang yung existing and operating. So yun po yung inaaral pa po namin. And we're confident we can resolve this in the next 2 weeks, Your Honor.
Yes, okay. Attorney Di Malanta, ang tanong ko naman ngayon, kumusta naman po yung power supply doon sa Occidental Mindoro? Nagkaka-brown out pa ba? Kasi sabi ni Admin Almeda ng NEA, wala na pong brown out. Is it true?
Apo, yung mas on ground po si Admin Almeda po, pero nagkakausap naman po kami and so far po na-confirm naman po niya talaga na tuloy-tuloy po yung supply. Ang tanong na lang po ay hanggang kailan kaya nila mapapagpatuloy kasi nga po kung wala silang provisional authority, hindi po sila nakakakolekta ng subsidy.
So dapat po diyan kayo magipagtulungan sa NEA para tuloy-tuloy po yung wala na pong power interruption.
Apo.
So that's good news in a way.
Sino nagbibigay ng provisional authority?
Kami po.
So ba't di pa ninyo binibigay?
Kasi po meron pong mga legal issues pa po na kailangan naming i-resolve. Particularly yun nga po, pwede ba naming bigyan ng provisional authority yung isang project na iisa lang ang rate dapat? Composed of a solar, diesel, and bunker. Kung ang gumagana pa lang ay yung bunker, yung bunker. Opo, yung bunker fuel.
Hindi. Kahit naman magbigay kayo ng ceiling, kunyari, dun sa mga iba't ibang sources of energy, hindi naman kailangan lahat available na eh. Dahil hindi naman sila nagre-remit pa sa inyo, di ba?
Yun po yung inaaral po namin. Kasi po mukhang nung nagpa-CSP ito, isang rate lang po applicable. Kumbaga po, blended yung rate na nanalo. So, inaaral po namin, paano kaya nating mag-grant yung blended rate kung isa pa lang yung planta na gumagana, wala kang biniblend. So, titingnan po namin kung pwede ba namin pong gawin yun. Consistent pa rin po ba to the CSP that was conducted by OMECO.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Di Malanta. Yes, go ahead, Senator Win.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just on this topic, I know before there was a talk of building subsea or underwater cable to connect the island of Mindoro to the mainland. No? And the reason for that, as we all know, Mindoro is one of the fastest growing islands of our country. No? Puerto Galera is there, Calapan City is there, and it's still considered a SPAG. No? So, hindi na siya SPAG because of these two fast-growing cities. May I get some updates on that undersea cable, whether that will push through? Is there any application already from NGCP, and is that part of the Transmission Development Plan?
Yes, Your Honor. That there was an application filed by NGCP, and in the ERC we already issued the approval for that interconnection project for last year. Maybe NGCP can update us on the status po. May approval na po.
Yeah, okay, good. That's good to hear that we have approvals already for that. No, it's been a long dream of the people of Mindoro to connect. Parang Samal Island yan, Gov. No, but of course Mindoro is a much bigger island. But it's good to hear that that project has been approved, and maybe we get updates from NGCP on the timetable, because we all know that NGCP has some issues with timetables, you know. So maybe get some updates on that.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, if I may. Yeah, for the as Chair Mona mentioned, this Batangas-Mindoro interconnection is really an important part of our transmission plan. In fact, we first asked for approval for this project way back in 2011. Unfortunately, that project, that application remained unacted on for more than 10 years. So in 2021, because the face of the transmission grid already changed, we had to refile that petition. And last February 2023, we did receive approval from the ERC for the project. But even before the approval was received, we already began the hydrographic survey and the route selection for that. So we have done pre-construction work, and we are already moving forward with that project as committed to the committee, to the chair of the committee, and also to the local governments of Mindoro. To proceed with the project and fast track it. In fact, we have already coordinated with certain government officials and have gotten their commitment to help us streamline the process, including the help we need in getting the documents from the local government units like tax declarations to help us plot the route properly. And we also try to get the support of the local government to also, again, assist us with the right-of-way procurement that, as we know, as mentioned by Professor Wally Del Mundo last hearing, can take as much as 10 years. But because the timeline for this is must be abbreviated, we're already trying to get the support of the local communities there.
I have a quick question. For example, you're able to get approval for all your permits, right of way and whatever LGU other permits. How long is the actual physical construction of this undertaking?
I'm not sure, Senator, how many towers are involved in this particular project, but ordinarily how many sections for stringing we'll have to do, and that's also very tricky and very technical. But the actual timeline for construction will largely be determined by the route survey and the actual routing that will be determined after that's
Okay,
done.
so timeline. I'm sure with the board, you're giving them a timeline considering. So what are we looking at?
Yeah, project target for energization currently, assuming there are no further delays on how we go about it, would be 2027. That's already a very tight timeline, Madam Senator, because ordinarily it will, even in more industrialized countries, transmission lines are built anywhere from 10 to 15 years. So this is already a very abbreviated timeline, but this is possible with the full support of the government, national and local level.
Well, if Senator Rafi is still chairman of the Committee on Energy, I'm sure he'll be consistently monitoring the progress of this, and he'll still be here 2027. So hopefully we'll be looking at some positive progress.
Thank you, Senator Grace. Now,
Honorable Chair Tulfo, can OMCPC comment on Occidental Mindoro?
and who's talking?
Mr. Henotiva po of OMCPC.
Go ahead. Go ahead po, Mr. Henotiva. Sir.
Good morning, Honorable
Floor is
Chair.
yours.
Yeah, in relation to the comment of Honorable Chair Di Malanta, tama po, yung Samarica PSA has three components, of course, bunker, solar, and diesel. However, in the bid, there are separate computations for the bunker, for the solar, and for the diesel, and separate metering po yan. So technically, and from a mathematical standpoint, pwede po nating i-compute separately. Although, under normal circumstances, bottom line, magbe-blend yung tatlo. But these are not normal circumstances. Kaya we filed for a special joint motion na i-advance implement yung bunker. Now, I think it becomes a policy issue of ERC whether to allow that or not. But concern ko lang kasi welfare ng mga tao. That's why whether policy or welfare yung importante, yun yung concern ko po.
Okay, thank you. Para makamove on.
Just a quick to Chair Mona. Chair Mona, do we allow or do we have regulations on blended type of technologies? Do we allow that already? Because before it was 1:1, you know, one PSA, one technology, one contract. No, but we all know that the world has evolved to a 1:1 regulatory regime. We have already moved to blended contracts, multiple technologies. So have we updated our regulatory regime to take into consideration blended technologies and this type of technologies?
Thank you, Mr. Senator. Actually, it will be defined by the CSP framework that governed the PSA. So yun naman po, we have actually already approved non-plant specific PSAs. Kasi po yun po yung tinatawag nating financial contract PSAs. Walang specific plant kasi isa lang yung presyo, bahal ka at supplier kung saan mo isi-source. So the ERC has approved those type. But because it's the framework of the CSP that selected and awarded that contract provided for it. Kaya po ang inaaral namin dito, yung CSP ba na nabanggit po ni Mr. Henotiva kanina, allowed for separate computation. Pero yung inaward kasi pong rate ay iisa, blended. So ang inaaral po namin, pwede ba talaga mong i-advance yung certain components? If that is, so yun po yung unang question. Pwede mo bang i-allow na isa-isa muna hindi at the same time in phases yung projects? That's the first question. The second, if that is allowed, then what rate will apply? Is it that separate computation or still the blended rate? So yun po yung mga kailangan naming i-hurdle because the CSV that was conducted in 2021, so again, nabanggit po niya, these are extraordinary times. I agree. But nagka-delay din po kasi yung project eh. So hindi po ito na-imagine na magka-come aboard during an extraordinary time. It should have been in place earlier. So pwede po ba naming i-allow po yung ganun? So yun pong ganung legal questions yung binubusisi pa po namin before we
But it's
issue.
possible. It's the ERC has that regulatory regime to come up with rates for blended
Apo.
technologies.
Pwede po, Your Honor.
Alright.
Kasi po, yung CSP naman po yung susundin po natin doon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Win. Para makamove na tayo, I would suggest anybody who still wants to make some statements regarding this matter sa Umeco, you can submit your position papers.